in a position to just try to be one of the best ever.
Welcome to NBA Today with Malika Andrews, live from Los Angeles.
And so we wait. LeBron's free agency. Oh, yes, it continues. We're, 17 days in? And according to our Sharpe Sharanya, as time ticks down or up, or what is time at this point, we've gone from 5 teams to more realistically now 3 still in the running for the 4-time champion. And LeBron spoke today again at Fanatics Fest. And let's just say he got the crowd really going with a very famous Philadelphia phrase.
Most important is I want to compete at a high level. I want to, join a franchise that kind of shares the same, model as myself, and that's practicing championship happens every day, but trusting the process more than anything. I think you trust the process of actually getting to that point. I've been saying trust the process because I was drafted in 2003. McMenamin was even born yet. I'm gonna start talking. Y'all always think talk, so okay, so we gotta trust the process. Again, if you get to a place, where it's real sunny or I like this. The process is what's most important. Years of different champions. So, everyone feels coming into the season, this could be our year. Every fan base feel like this could be our year as well. So, being up with a team that's, kind of have that same model, we got to put the work in right here in September, October, and then what happens down the road.
We now welcome in Dave McMenamin, our senior writer who is covering all things Lakers and now all things LeBron. And Dave, you were in the room when you saw LeBron work the crowd up. I think you called it a tizzy in your post on social media. So where do things stand now? What more do we know about LeBron James and his free agency decision?
Yeah, Malika, there's still a handful of fan bases that still think they have a shot to get LeBron James whenever the decision comes. And I can tell you that those teams and the team brass associated with those fan bases also still have belief. Now, the list has narrowed. Really, we're talking about Miami, Cleveland, Philadelphia. And from the folks I've talked to over the last 24 hours or so, it seems like Golden State is more of a remote possibility than maybe we would have said a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And a lot of that has to do with the Eastern Conference and the path that it would provide to potentially playing in the NBA Finals. If you stay in the West, you basically have to go through 2 final series in San Antonio and the Thunder in order just to get to the finals and then have to beat the Eastern Conference team. And so certainly that's part of the equation here. But the one thing that LeBron has continued to talk about after yesterday and today is don't look at next year, his 24th season, as the swan song necessarily. Today he was comparing himself to Bruce Springsteen and the Rolling Stones in terms of he still can get it done, and there's still a lot of people around the country who want to see him play, so don't force me into retirement anytime soon.
Yeah, and there's still hits to be played as well. To all of the fans who are stopping very promptly right behind you to wave, we wave back, Dave. We appreciate the insight.
Thanks, Malika.
All right, we're now joined by a pair of senior writers, Brian Windhorst and Scape's Mark Spears, and of course, live from Vegas, as he has been for the last 10 days, our front office insider, Bobby Marks, who is cooked and ready to be here. Brian, LeBron, whenever he says, anything, but something like trust the process, he doesn't do that without knowing a little bit what he's doing here, right?
I don't know. Number one, I loved that clock. That's my favorite thing I've seen all week. Number two, Dave McMenamin has taken to wearing black because he's at a vigil. He's just now all wearing black. It's his mood. Number three, Novak Djokovic, who's still getting it done in his late 30s.
I'm sorry,
was on that with you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Malika, you should have been the one to moderate that panel with Djokovic and LeBron. And that's what he was talking about, being able to play into his later years.
Right.
Number four, the fans are so desperate for any update and sitting on the edge of their seat that they hear a benign phrase like trust the process and they scream because we're in the desert of information here. And I do not think LeBron was trying to send any sort of message there. I do think he has now gone through these compensated appearances without trying to show his hand, and he has managed to do that. But I also do think the one thing of news that he revealed is very relevant, which he repeated again today, which Dave just said, and that is that he is looking at this as a multi-year decision. We have no idea whether his health will enable him to play multi-years. He's not saying that. But the fact that this is a multi-year decision, I think absolutely will go into how this decision is made. And there are certain teams that set up better for a multi-year commitment as opposed to a one-off commitment.
Right. And when you're saying there's a couple of teams that sound like they're better set up for a multi-year commitment, Bobby. What Shams and what Dave is reporting is that it seems to be narrowed down to 3. And by the way, all 3 of those teams reside in the Eastern Conference. When you're looking at Miami, when you're looking at Philadelphia, certainly as we just talked about as well. Is there one, Bobby, that is better suited than the rest in terms of where they're able to go, what they're able to do?
Well, Malik, I've been leaning towards Cleveland just based on their roster with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden coming back, and of course Jared Allen and certainly Evan Mobley and some of the bench with their shooters. But I think what Philadelphia has to offer is certainly compelling. And I know there's a lot of ifs there with Joel Embiid's health, but when you look at Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe and Jaylen Brown and now certainly Joel Embiid, that's a compelling argument. But you can also look down south to Miami with Giannis and Bam Adebayo, and you've got an Olympic coach in Eric Spoelstra. Philadelphia's got an NBA champion in Nick Nurse, and certainly Bob Myers and Mike Gantz, who have won championships. So as I said, everyone offers a little bit of something that maybe the other teams don't have to offer LeBron.
Well, I was kind of very intrigued by among his stop with Rich Kleiman yesterday, talking about LeBron James, and he started talking about family, his 11-year-old daughter, Juri, and he said every time he leaves the house, she's like, Dad, where you going? Can I go with you? And also in that podcast, LeBron was saying that family is a big part of this.
Look at Zuri there.
Yeah. Have you met her?
I was standing right under the basket when this happened, actually. I was on the sidelines for this game between the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors last season.
Yeah. So she certainly plays a role. He said in his decision, his wife plays a role in the decision. And where's his wife from? Like him. She's from Ohio. She's like Akron. And I remember when LeBron was there, he ran the city. Brian knows this. I used to go to that place, XO, and he had a spot in the back where you couldn't go. And, it's like Cheers if he goes back there. In terms of Golden State, they have told me that they think it's a longer shot, but it's also a shorter flight. He could be back there in 50 minutes to go to his daughter's volleyball games, have dinner with his family. Obviously, Draymond, and he's close with Draymond and Steph, and that's the case there. But if it's a family decision, I think Cleveland and Golden State certainly have a check that the other teams don't have.
Well, and when you're talking about Draymond Green and waiting, it's not just us who, you say a dearth of information, a desert of information. All of us are sitting there on the edge of our seat, Brian. I don't think it's just the fans that are sitting there at Fanatics Fest. Teams are waiting. The league is waiting as a whole. And Commissioner Adam Silver, he spoke about LeBron's looming decision. Take a listen.
Where LeBron plays will affect the schedule. So I would like him to make his announcement already so we can finish the schedule, because as you might imagine, the teams are calling us, the networks are calling us, and everybody wants to lock in the schedule. But it will influence how we set the schedule, how we set opening week, Christmas Day, etc. So I need him to make a decision, but the direct answer is I have no inside information.
Well, of course, and usually we don't reveal the schedule here for a couple of weeks. They got a little bit of time. But, Bobby, there are ripple effects that are happening from LeBron James and his decision. By the way, we've seen huge free agents off the board way later than LeBron right now.
Well, free agency is basically paused right now, Malika. Certainly there's been a couple signings earlier in the week, but when you look at teams like Philadelphia and Miami and Cleveland and as Mark said, Golden State, those are the teams that are holding 3 to 4 roster spots available. Draymond Green in Golden State hasn't signed. James Harden in Cleveland, and I think the 2 players to keep an eye on here is DeMar DeRozan and Bradley Beal. DeRozan is probably the best free agent out there outside of James and the 2 players I just mentioned here. And I think where LeBron